Throughout the 90s, people went crazy for these two things. I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games, and today I review 3 video games involving zombies, dinosaurs, and, well, you'll see.
Second Opinion Games.
First up on this list, I have Jurassic Park 2. The chaos continues. And the very first thing I noticed is that it was made by Ocean. So I immediately got sad and thought that it was going to suck. And then I saw the production value was through the roof. There's some really high quality voice sampling here. And then a comic book cartoonish art style in the opening with a little bit of Mode 7 thrown in there just for good measure. This got me really pumped to start playing the game. And when I did, I realized that it was a very open game because you could pick the missions that you do from the very start. And it's kind of a good thing that this is in here because it is so freaking difficult as you played through the game in this run and gun Contra-esque style shoot 'em up. Now, it's not exactly like Contra, as all of your weapons are at your disposal from the very start. However, your ammo is very limited, so occasionally you have to pick up more. So when you find an ammo crate, it's not for any specific weapon. It's for whatever weapon you have selected at that time. So you have to pick and choose which ones are the most valuable to you. And you also have 2 different styles of weapons. One are generally your guns, which are good for killing people. Yes, not just dinosaurs in this game, but people will attack you too. And some of the guns are perfect for mowing these people down. These are your shotguns and your machine guns alike. However, there are also guns that are better suited for dinosaurs, like missiles and tranquilizers and a chargy plasma gun, which is pretty darn good at taking out these predator-esque beasts. The graphical style is top-notch, with a lot of parallax scrolling, and you'll notice that your main character has quite a few frames of animation, which adds to a lot of depth to this game. The music on top of it is perfect. Sometimes it's a little on the tranquil side, and other times it really amps you up for all the action that this game throws at you. However, the AI is pretty much non-existent. Dinosaurs either just charge at you or stand in place and don't seem to do anything. The people are just cannon fodder. They just run at you and die, or they just stand in place and throw grenades. So the AI pretty much isn't there at all. But that doesn't mean that this is a bad game. It just means that it's a hard one. And it is relentless in the amount of enemies it throws at you, especially because they seem to spawn in non-stop, sometimes in overwhelming numbers. So if you can get past that, this is a terrific title. The next game I want to talk about is Splatter House 2 for the Sega Genesis. Now, I loved my TurboGrafx 16 and the TurboGrafx version of the game, so I really kind of ignored the Genesis sequel. And sadly, I did that for way too long, because when I first put in this game, I noticed that the production value again was top-notch. You could hear some screams from your girl as Jennifer seems to be still alive and in the house, and then you hear laughter from the mask, letting Rick know that she doesn't have to die. Slowly the camera pans to get to the house, and then you know that you're on your way back in for another gory good time. And that's what the game truly does have. Gore that is over the top, pushing the censors to their absolute limits. And Rick here this time around is a total badass. And you know this for a fact because when you come to the very first boss, there are some of these cannon fodder enemies, and after watching 2 of his friends get slaughtered, he looks at Rick and says, "No, I'd rather be dead by that thing than by Rick with his fists of steel." And you know his fists are really strong because in the first game, he punched knives right out of the air, but in the second game, he punches chainsaws out of the air. Now, how freaking over the top strong do you have to be to punch chainsaws out of mid-air? Now, Splatter House 2 is deceptively simple, with just one button for jump and another button for attack. And there's also a slide move you could do, which I've only been able to do it by accident like one time. Seriously, I have no idea how to do this move, and from what I hear, it's really over the top powerful, being twice as strong as your fists and feet normally. So, clearing the game, this would really come in handy. Also, the sound effects this time around are incredibly lame. Nothing seems to sound satisfying, even when you bash things into the background or use your fists to obliterate your enemies. And the chainsaw sounds a little okay, but the music itself in this game is some of the best of the entire Sega Genesis's life, and even the 16-bit generation in general. The graphics this time around are much improved, and because of this, the mask that Rick uses is definitely not a hockey mask. It is a white skull mask, and the fact that they did this and didn't have to use the purple thing that they had in the TurboGrafx 16 version shows you that everything is a little bit more detailed. Also a little bit more detailed is Rick's girlfriend, who is a sweet-looking honey in this game. No wonder he risks his life to save her. I mean, she's pretty hot, and you're gonna risk a lot of lives because you're gonna die quite a darn bit in this game. It is really hard. Now, I understand games that are just hard for the sake of being hard, but this is a little bit more unfairly hard. See, there's certain spots where things just jump out at you or rain from above, killing you dead, meaning you have to memorize large portions of this game if you think you're gonna beat it, and I really don't have time in my advanced age to memorize all these levels. But if you have the time and the energy, this game is nearly perfect, and it is really gruesome. But what about a game that would combine the zombies and the dinosaurs together? That would be truly awesome. Also, I'm getting a little nauseous from all this violence, so maybe we should tone it down from here on. So the next game I'm going to talk about isn't Dino Crisis, no, it's Zombie Dinos from Planet Zeltoid. And if you saw this game coming, well, you are really sick, because I am digging down deep in the obscure titles on this one. It's a CDI edutainment game where it teaches you all about dinosaurs. Also, the production value on this game is top notch because it has CD quality sound effects and quite a bit of voice acting and live action video with this dinosaur who calls you rocket scientist. I'm not sure if he's doing it in a disparaging way or if he actually thinks that he's thinking you're kind of cool and calling you this. There's also a guy that looks like Jigsaw. It took me a while to figure it out, but he actually has a face that it's a brain. And my 5th grade science teacher often shows up as the onboard computer for some reason. And she's a little helpful too, because when you try to figure out the dinosaur, she could actually help you out on this spot. But let me not get too far ahead of myself here. First, we have to find some clues. See, you have a map, and you can move your character around the map all willy-nilly trying to find clues, but then you will eventually run out of time and it will be game over. Or you could spin the compass and it vaguely tells you where to go. If you count the spaces and use the compass a little bit, you could roughly figure it out. You'll come across some clues like, is this dinosaur walking on all 4 legs? Is there a lot of them? Or how much does it weigh? Or what type of armaments it has, such as claws and teeth, or a spiky tail, and whatnot like that. After figuring out all those clues, then you can identify the dinosaur. And in case you don't know everything about dinosaurs, you could either look through all the dinosaur videos, which would take you like about a half hour, with 3D models in here as well, or you could ask your 5th grade math teacher to figure it out for you. And if she does, it takes away half the time off the clock right away, making it really hard to finish the level and save the dinosaur that you're on. But if you do so, then you have to track down that dinosaur by spinning that thing and searching around the map. And when you do, you have to then save it from the brain. And you better hope you watched all of those dinosaur videos, because now a quiz goes on where it tests you on all of your knowledge about dinosaurs. And chances are you're gonna fail here, unless you're actually a 5th grader and have the time to learn all this stuff about dinosaur trivia. Then you're gonna ace it and save the day really easy like when I was a kid. Now I fail again and again, and I'm totally okay with this, because that kicks off a video of a dinosaur destroying towns like St. Louis and Paris. And yes, these are done really cheesy like. After all, this is the CDI. But I love it nonetheless. This is actually probably the best edutainment game I've ever played outside of Carmen Sandiego itself, and that's really saying something. Now, all 3 of these games are simple must-haves. Jurassic Park 2 for the Super Nintendo is a pretty darn cool run and gun. Splatter House 2 for the Sega Genesis is gory and over the top, simplistic with its movements, but hard as nails and lots of memorization. And Zombie Dinos for the CDI has even more memorization, but this time you're going to come out a little bit better and knowing a little bit more about the world for all your troubles. And you get to play one of the best games on the CDI. So, no matter what you go with, zombies, dinosaurs, or both, you win, because these are great games. But of course, that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching.
Roofed lizard is the meaning of one dino's name. Which dost ye venture was entitled to that claim? Uh-oh.
Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I had a great time making it. And if you want to see me do more reviews like this, well, guess what? I'm not going to stop anytime soon. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, well, please do so. And remember, you can follow me on Facebook, except for the fact that I don't even have Facebook. And don't bother Patreon me either, because I don't have that. Basically, I just want you to watch more videos. So here's a couple that I suggested here in the corner, and just go ahead and watch them. Binge watch all my videos while you're at it. I'm also the only guy that reviewed every single official released Atari Jaguar game for that system. So if you like that console, then yeah, you're weird and just as weird as me. So go ahead, watch all my videos, and until later, I'll see you again, guys.